Okay, I'm ready, you guys. Sorry about that. I just remembered I didn't have my ink pad so for today's virtual class, but welcome to my Facebook page, which is inspired by Graham, and that is created after my grandmother. Hey, Debbie, nice to see you. I'm going to be having a virtual card class today, and we'll be making 4 different cards. They're super easy, but they're beautiful. And it's a offering I have going on right now. So I have 17 or 16 still left. So you have time to get this by placing a $35 order and using this nice little host code right here, which is KM as in Mary, PZQ2FX. So hey, Debbie, I just want you to know you need to register for this class. So make sure you do that either now or later. There was a link. If you don't have it, don't worry. I'll save you one. But Debbie did earn this. Debbie's on my team, and she also is helping me try to earn the incentive trip. I know I'm going to earn it. It's just a matter of time. It could be tonight. It could be tomorrow. It could be September 30th. But I'll show you a little update from Friday. There wasn't a lot of change, but there's change. So that number total points needed is now less than it was on Friday. So I'm happy about that. I still have time. And with your help, I'm going to show you some products tonight that I'll be using, especially punches, because I'm a punch girl. I love punches. It makes my life so much easier. And I'll give you the prices on them. So if you're interested in placing an order on my website, with that host code, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm always looking for new customers. So if you're in the need of paper crafting, especially Christmas cards, Christmas is coming up, so you definitely want to get a head start on that. And see what else. I do have my card club. Let me just show you that. That's another way you can become a customer. And for my card club, you can be a demonstrator and still belong. And the customers as well. Just have to be in the United States. As you can see, I've got duplicates of these because we made these the other night. So here's a really beautiful one. And in my card club, I usually don't do heat embossing, but this is stamped in soft suede. It would look fabulous in gold. So just a hint, if you're in my card club, it says to ink with soft suede ink. Try to use gold because it's got that gold foil in there too. And then on the inside here, it's just plain. Here I stacked the stars, and on Friday we made this one, and I think everybody liked this one better than this one, but I used the Starlit Punch, so you'll get all the shapes in that in both petal pink and the distressed gold. And then here's another one. And this one's got so many dimensionals on it just because I use it for photography, and it's got a close up. But if I open this all the way up, this is gorgeous with the petal pink, soft succulent. There's also some mint macaron in there too. And this is that nice petal pink polyester, very soft ribbon that's in the annual catalog. So that would be another card you'd be making. I didn't make this one the other night, but it's really, really pretty, just very simple. I use the Meadows dies on this, and with the distressed gold, matches the gold there in the foil paper. And this is textured chic, so it's very trendy right now. And also the Stampin' Up is having sales on certain supplies, and the cards and envelopes and the memories and more cards are on sale. And then here's one we made the other night too. This was my sample, but then we jazzed it up with some Wink Estella. We did some splattering, and you probably can't see this, of course, but it looks so much better with splattering. And this is kind of that little scroll look that is actually pretty popular too. I just noticed we didn't add those embellishments there, so I guess I missed up on that one. But anyway, that's another way you can become a customer. I'm always looking for customers, but if you're working with a Stampin' Up demonstrator currently, I'm not trying to take anybody's customers away. Just if you're looking, that would be great if you would become one of my customers and help me earn that incentive trip. Okay, so enough of that. I want to get working on this because I do have 4 simple cards, and I love being very, very simple with my stamping. So the color palette we're using for inks would be, where you've got a green in there, of course, Melon Mambo, Mossy Meadow, Rich Raspberry, and Starry Sky. We're also going to be using Orchid Oasis Stampin' Blends and Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blend, not Stampin' Blends, Stampin' Right markers. Sorry about that. These are water-based, whereas blends are alcohol-based, and you need to use Memento Black with that. But we're going to be coloring and doing the huffing technique. So my class would include, it's going to include this whole big sheet of designer series paper called Wonderful World, and the stamp set, and kits to make 8 cards, you guys, 8, like the big number 8. And the stamp set I did use for the class, I used Inspired Thoughts, and that is $19. So you could put that onto your order. So this, it may be a punch that I'll show you later, will equal 38. And you've got this class, just make sure you use that host code. And I'll have all this in the description box as well. I'm going to upload this video to YouTube. Okay, so here are the cards. We'll go through them really quick. This one, I just love this butterfly, you guys. Let me just go get those dies. Hold on, I forgot to grab those. Okay, so they're kind of chaotic mess right now because I was cutting paper last night really late. But Stylish Shapes. I don't have the price on this right now, but I'm going to be adding it. These are so popular. I think everybody just loves that they kind of came back with the squares and the circles. And they used to have the ovals stitched, but they're using banners. So Stylish Shapes. So that's another thing you could place an order for. And then something's new that's in the mini catalog are the designer tags. And I don't want to lose that little one there. I figure I'm going to lose it eventually. But here's that butterfly die here. I'll also be using this one here and this one as well. So I'm using 3 of the dies in the designer tags. So those again are in the mini catalog. They're new. So I love to buy dies that kind of have those little tag effects or squares, rectangles, because I do simple stamping. And when I do my card club, I'm doing like many kits, so I can't be doing die cutting like for like a whole week. I just got to make it easy for my customers, easy for myself, and then we go with it. Okay, so let me get this all out of the way so we can start. I am not looking at comments just because I want to focus on this class. All right, I do not have any blocks, so hold on. I had an eye doctor's appointment, and it really got me behind. So I don't have any of these, but I'll show you the blocks that I'm going to be using. So if you don't have these in your stash, you might want to. I just keep my blocks in this little bin here. I got it at Michael's. It works perfectly. It's got these nice little like handles here, and it's super sturdy. I always buy their baskets on sale, like 50% off. So make sure you wait for that. So the first one we need is You Make a Difference Every Day. And I'm just going to put this on here. Wait a minute. Is that one bigger? And I'll tell you the blocks after that. Actually, hold on. I'm going to show you how I mount my sentiment stamps. So what I like to do is I put them on my grid paper. And I do not put them on straight across. I make it so it's diagonal. And the reason why is that my eyes will now focus on You Make a Difference Every Day rather than the straight of the block. So if you aren't doing it that way, give it a try because you may like that. And then the next one we need is Thank You So Much. So I will grab that. And again, I'm just going to figure out, There we go. It fits, and those are C blocks. C and D's are my go-to blocks, by the way. And then this one here, since I don't have, yeah, I got some other blocks, but they're mounted on another class that I'm doing, which is my card club. So I got to use a D block. Usually I use a little bit smaller, but D will work also. And again, diagonal. And then the last one is, oh, we need some flowers too, with heartfelt sympathy. Now I know we don't like to make sympathy cards right there. However, you know, sometimes it is needed. So if I love making beautiful sympathy cards. All right, this one I'm going to change out. So this is a B block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sympathy stamp on my C, and then this one's going on my B block, just because it's going to fit better. Okay, so I've got all the sentiments ready to go. Next up for this, I'm going to need each of those flowers. I'm not using the foliage and leaves part. So let me grab all these. Now this set was free during Celebration, which just ended end of August. But I had 19 of these stamp sets, 19 packs of designer series paper that I'm offering to my customers with that qualifying order. Okay, so this one's going to be on a D. And then since I'm kind of running low, I'll put this one on a D as well. Now this one here does not fit on a D block. Okay, so the next step up would be this one here, which is an I block. So you can put it diagonal like that, but when you stamp, you'll just have to look at the stems, okay? Another way you could do it is, let me see if I can get this. So you put it straight like that, it's gonna go over the edge. But if you put it more of a diagonal, all you have to do is remember to stamp it accordingly. Okay, so we have all those ready to go. I think that's everything. Okay. I'm going to be using Stampin' Seal and also my liquid glue. And if this one doesn't work, I've got a brand new one off to the side. So here's the one we're going to make first. Now your class is going to include all the die cuts, all the punch shapes, that butterfly. You'll have enough ribbon. You're going to have all these panels. Also, I'm providing white on the inside as well. I always do that, unless it's actually a white card base. Okay, so you will just need your adhesives, you'll need ink, and you'll need the stamp set. And you can use whatever stamp set you want, or you can purchase the inspired thoughts that I'm using tonight. So I also will be sending you basic white envelopes. Those are superb, love them. All right, so we're going to stamp first. And I just got to remember what I did on this inside. Okay, nothing. The envelopes I'm not going to stamp on, or maybe I'll stamp on them, but I'm not going to be adding the designer series paper on with you tonight. I've showed that many a times, so if you don't know how to do this, you can look back at a video, but this is the matching like card and envelope. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty, and I would love to get this like in the mail for sure. All right, so let's grab this one and not that one, my envelope. Okay, I'm gonna grab some scrap paper too, because that's a fairly new grid paper, and I honestly do not want to ruin it. So I'm gonna just grab this out. Okay, so now this one really doesn't have any of the flowers on it, so you can pick and choose how you want to stamp your envelope. I will be stamping it with the primary flower is the rose. So I'm going to stamp the rose on this one. And so that's going to be in Melon Mambo. That's our definite primary color, the card base, and it's going to pop. All right, so this is really juicy. It's super humid in Vermont, and it's gonna rain all night long and all day. Not all night, but in the middle of the night, it's gonna start and rain all day tomorrow. So we need the rain, but it's so humid once again. All right, so that's that beautiful rose. It's a very intricate stamp. And also, let's see, I've got this little triangle here. That's from the die set I showed you earlier, which is Stylish Shapes. Now, it's got a rough side. You don't want to stamp on that side. You want to stamp on the smooth side. And let me just grab You Make a Difference Every Day. And hopefully I'll get this straight. It's okay. Not too bad. It's a little shift over to the left, but that's okay. That's all we have for this one. So it's very simple. And anybody, a beginner to advanced, can do this class. Now it's just the fun part, which is assembling. Now our designer series paper has 2 different sides. To me, that's the kind of the boring side, so I won't be using that. I'm going to be using that really pretty paper here. And again, I'm using my multi-purpose liquid glue, because on this class, I'm working primarily with 1/8 of an inch borders, which I know some people don't like to use, and I never like to use 1/8 of an inch. In the beginning, when I started with Stampin' Up like 13, 14 years ago, but now it's my go-to layering. It's just a hint of that pear pizzazz coming through. It's just really, really small. You're going to need some Stampin' Dimensionals from your craft room, but I'm going to add 5 of these. And I know a lot of you know that I went hiking for the month of August and 2 days in July. And I had carpal tunnel right before, diagnosed with it right before I went hiking. And it was aggravated quite a bit on the trail. And so now I'm using my Take Your Pick tool until I get to go to the doctors and see exactly what they want to do. So great tool to use. And all those dimensionals actually stayed put. Melon Mambo, which is 8.5 by 4.5, or 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4.25. Oh my God. Sorry. Oh my God. Do I still have you guys? I'm charging my phone, and there was not enough battery on it to do a live tonight, so I have my cord hanging onto my phone, and I just whacked it. All right, sorry if I made you sick. So let's go over that one more time. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already scored it with my paper trimmer, and just burnished it with my bone folder. So this is going to go right on here, so you can see the why I do like 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 is because you get more of that card base showing, and I actually really like that. So the Pear Pizzazz 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and then the Designer Series Paper Wonderful Worlds 3 3/4 by 5. So that can maximize your paper as well. So that was very easy, right? It's so easy. The next step we've got is that cute little butterfly. And we need to punch out this shape right here, which is in Melon Mambo. So I do have a scrap here. And this is the handmade tag punch. And it's in the mini catalog for $19. If you are into craft fairs, you're going to want punches like this, because it will make your life so much easier, and so it'll be so much quicker for you as well. All right, so see how this is going to go right here, but if you kind of leave it like on there, it's kind of lost with the Melon Mambo. So we're going to pop up that sentiment really easy. Again, with our Stampin' Dimensionals, we're going to use a lot of these tonight. And for this one, I'm probably just going to, it's going to be awkward if I do just 2. So I'm going to grab some of these edge pieces. They work really nice. Okay, so that'll be equal balanced. And again, we'll just use that, take your pick tool and get rid of those backings. Okay, if you have this tool, what is your favorite use of it? I would love to know. It also has a putty side that can pick up small embellishments as well. Okay, so now can you see how that has a lot more dimension now? And you can kind of see it's popped up there on the edge. So that's going to give you some height. Now we're going to take this one over because we need some more dimensionals on this one because we're going to add ribbon underneath it. So I suggest 4. Okay, I'm going to prep this and get it ready to go. And if you guys are commenting, I will not see it until after, I don't think, because it's for some reason Facebook doesn't show me my comments until after. So if you're commenting, I don't see it. And I apologize for that, but it's that whatever Facebook rule is during the day. It can be so many different things, right? All right, so I've got my Stampin' Seal Plus because it is a really super sticky adhesive. And now I'm going to use the glittered organdy ribbon. It's 3/8 of an inch. And what I want to do is I just kind of want to put this like just kind of every which way. And I don't want to use too much of it because I don't want to waste it. So, and then I'm going to go, let's see, I might have to add some more of that adhesive, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I want this way over. Oops. Okay, all the way up. So kind of just a messy kind of look, because that is where our punch shape is going to go. I might have to fix it, but we'll see how it all turns out. Okay, so now this is going to cover that right like that. Okay, can you see that? I'm going to trim this a little bit down, but it kind of just adds a little bit of glitter. And then the final step is we've got 1 inch across by 5 1/4 with your basic white panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4. That's standard. And then we'll just take our glue and just add it. And then this is directional, so we've got to make sure you're putting it on the correct way. I'd like to use a little bit, or have a little bit of that white showing along the edge. Okay, and then for white pieces, the basic white, I like to use the Stampin' Seal. Oops. And then I only use like 1/2 inch, kind of like tick marks, because our Stampin' Seal adhesive is so sticky that you don't need to go all the way around the edge. Okay, and then here we go with this. The final step is we're going to embellish with the In Color matte decorative dots. And I've got these over here. These are $8. And I'm going to, I might use Parakeet Party. I'm going to use Parakeet Party. Even though it's got Pear Pizzazz in here, I'm going to use a Parakeet Party just because our colors coordinate. And you can kind of see the coordination here. You may not have chosen this color, but it does work. Okay, so then this one is going to go right over here. And then we've got the butterfly here. Can't forget the little butterfly. And there is a right and a wrong side. So the smooth side faces you, and then this is the rough side. So I'm just going to take my liquid glue, give it a little dot. You don't need too much. And then we're going to place this right down It's going to be right on the edge. You might want to stamp a little bit higher. I did not stamp high enough, but that'll be okay. And then what I did was I used the Sweet Sorbet, and I used 3 of the same size, and I only have a couple left here. And see, that's what that putty side does. It picks up those little tiny ones, and it's just so much easier. Okay, so that is your card number 1. Wasn't that super easy? Here's the example. And I also, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Since I always tell you guys in any of my classes that you need to stamp with your personalized stamp on the back side in the ink color of your choice. And since I have this Melon Mambo out right now, I am going to stamp my name and address here. And on the other one too. So if I was mass producing like 20 cards, I'd do this step all at once and then do the next step. And then since I sell my cards, I need to have the Angel Policy stamp on here because it's copyrighted. And these are all set, ready to go and ready for a sale. All right, so then here's that beautiful rose. And on the back, I would have just put the designer series paper, which you can see right here. So here's this one. And then here is this one. So I know Melon Mambo is a really, really bright color, but, and it's kind of close, like our Poppy Parade, our Sweet Sorbet, and Melon Mambo are kind of like all different shades of that pink color. So let me know what you think of this one. I won't see your comment until a little bit later. Our next card's going to be, I'll teach you the huffing technique. So some of you may already know how to do that. But if you don't, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, if I was doing a class, and I would not do this in a class just because we are still experiencing COVID. So this is something I would not do outside of my craft room right now. Here is the envelope that matches. Super pretty on the inside. Again, we've just got a strip of that coordinating designer series paper. Alrighty, so we're going to be using Starry Night. And I am going to need my envelope. I need this little tag here, this little strip. And on the inside, I did not stamp, so I don't need that. Everything else is going to be for assembling, so we'll save that for a little bit later. I'll do the easier part first. So I'm gonna grab my Starry Sky, which matches the cardstock. And I'm going to stamp, thank you very much. Now, this one, I might have to stamp several times if I don't get it straight, but that's a 1/2 inch piece of the basic white. And, ooh, that's not straight. Don't like that. I think I put the cling sticker on incorrectly, so I don't remember. Oh, that's better. Okay, so that's a little bit straighter, so we're good with that. Okay, next is we're going to work on this one here. So let's pull in that scrap paper once again. And we're going to take our iris. Okay, so it's, I know we don't have these right now in Vermont. They're way well gone. They're a spring flower, but you can still make cards with flowers on them. So what you're going to want to do with a huffing technique is we're going to work with the Stampin' Up markers. So they work with, they're water-based. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking the brush tip. So that it's got 2 tips on it. This is a very fine tip, which I generally don't use, but I use the brush tip a lot. So I'm just going to take the side of the Stampin' Up marker and I'm just coloring in the flower. Okay. Hopefully I get this, it all works out good. the other day when I was stamping these, it wasn't this humid. But I can tell you, when I was hiking for a month, every day was this humid. It was unbearable. Okay, so that's fine. Now the Mossy Meadow, I'm going to use that brush tip as well. So we're going to get the stem colored in and the leaves. Okay, get that up there and up here. Okay, now we know that this, this is Orchid Oasis, by the way. It wasn't Starry Night or Starry Sky. So we know that the Orchid Oasis most likely is dry by now or very close. So when you huff on it, that means you have to huff your breath onto here, because your breath will give it the water or just that mist that it needs to give a good stamped image. So this tag here, again, has a smooth and a rough side. Make sure you're stamping on the smooth side, and I want to make sure that that flower is pretty high up. So I'm going to take this off camera, I'm going to huff on it, and then I'm going to stamp. And then I want to stamp way up high. And there is your two tones of Orchid Oasis and Mossy Meadow. Isn't that super fun? Now, how many of you have tried that technique? I'm going to do that again so you can kind of get a second, watch me do it again. So since it's going to be the same colors, I don't have to clean my stamp. I can just go back and color this in. And just again, using the side of the brush tip on the Stampin' Right markers, and this is Orchid Oasis. When you store your markers, the Stampin' Right markers or the blends, you want them horizontal, because if you stand them up like this, then your ink on one side is not going to be in that barrel. So you want to make sure you lay all of your blends, your markers, horizontally. Now, if it didn't have that dual tip, then of course you can lay it or stand it upright. Okay, I think I got all that colored in. Okay, now I've got my envelope here. Let's make sure the flap is going the correct way. I'm gonna huff on it off camera. I did it twice that time. I'm gonna stamp over the edge, and I'm just gonna hold it there for a second. And there you go, it's like magic, right? Okay, now if you, I miss a little bit, but this is when I would use that fine tip just to color in a little bit. Okay, if that bothered you too much, that's why it's nice to have your fine tip and your barrel in one marker. Okay, so that's our envelope. I think everything is ready to go to assemble. So we've got, again, Starry Sky. It's the same size as the previous card, so 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We've got Daffodil Delight. I know that's Patty C's favorite color. I don't know if she's watching or not. And then here's this piece, which is 3 by 3. It's going to go right here. And we'll just add our glue. Whoops, there we go. And this is just gonna get lined up right at the top. This one's got 1/4 inch. So this is 3 by 3, and that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I use a different pattern in that paper. And then this is gonna go right on the bottom. You don't have to worry too much about right here, because we're gonna put the ribbon over it. So if you did cut your paper a little bit too short or too long, you can overlap that. This is 1 by 3, by the way, or 3 by 1. So I overlapped this a little bit. And then we're going to take that ribbon once again. And we will, you can either wrap it around all the way, or you can go like this, tape it on the back side, and then take a piece and tie a knot bow over there. I think it uses just about the same amount of ribbon. So I'm gonna do it normally how I do it. So, but before that, I'm gonna prep it on the back side with some more dimensionals. And I'm gonna grab my silicone craft sheet because I don't want this to stick to that pretty paper down there. Okay, so now we need this ribbon flat on the back side, and then I just want to place this right here. I know it's flat, so that's fine. And then I'm going to center this. So that's stuck now. Now I can work with this ribbon a lot easier than if I didn't have it on that card base. This is just going to be a knot. It's not going to be any kind of fancy bow, that's for sure. Because I've noticed that I can't tie bows anymore until I get my fingers and my hand fixed. Okay, so we'll just grab that end here. And I can move this afterwards. I'll just use my finger there to hold that in place. And sorry, I can usually do this faster, but it's really hard. Okay, and then I'm pulling this left side so I can get that flat. Okay, so now what I would do is try to move this so it's more in that center seam. It just needs to go down a little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna take my scissors here and just trim this off. You want it to be a really small tails here because you don't want it to overpower your focal point. Just want to tie this a little bit tighter. Okay, you could put a glue dot under there to keep that where you secure like that, and I can show you how to do that. That's fairly simple. Just take your glue dot and the pointy end here, kind of roll it on the tip. Then you're gonna pick up that knot, slide in your mini glue dot, press down, and then it stays, okay, stays in place. All right, our stamped image here is next. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna add some more Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm gonna add 4. Okay. I'm trying to do a better job when I'm on camera by keeping and putting everything back in the same spot so I don't lose things. Alrighty, so then this is gonna get slid underneath that little tail, and I'm just gonna put it about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And then I'm just making sure before I give it a good press that it's centered on this 3x3, which it is. All right, next is our sentiment. And I like to use these 1/2 inch strips whenever I have really small sentiments. And I'm just going to use my paper snips to give it a straight cut. You could use your trimmer as well. And then I'm just going to cut this at an angle. It gives it a little bit more character. And then this is going to, so if you add your sentiment here, it's going to get lost. Let me bring that a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, see that? It's kind of lost. So that's why you're going to be needing your dimensionals, because you're going to need to do a lot of popping up on this class. They're $4.25, so that's a really good deal, and you get 300 of the dimensionals, And you have all the edge pieces as well. So a lot more than 300. Okay, so I want to kind of like cover up the stem at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of hover over it until I find that it's good. And I want to be equal edges here of the tag and the sentiment. So that looks pretty good. And we'll give it a nice little press. Next up is that strip and my glue. So these cards are basically built off of one another. They're all kind of the same layout, which makes it easier for your simple stamper, or if you just want to make a lot of cards quickly, choose one pattern and go with it. Like this one really didn't take too long, even though you're doing 2 different colors. So just pop on a nice movie or TV show. Survivor's going to be coming on soon. And I don't think it's this week, but I could be wrong. I really have been out of the loop. So I know all the reality TV shows are going to be coming back. Plus Grey's Anatomy, I love that one. But what's your favorite reality show coming on? All right, next up are decorative dots. I'm going to choose, so this is Orchid Oasis. It's a lighter bluish purple, and then this is the Starry Night. I'm going to do add the Starry Night because it's going to take from the card base. So I like to put one right there in that middle of that flower there. That looks pretty good. And then let me just add a little bit of putty here. Oops. And we're gonna add that one right here. Actually, I did, that's Orchid Oasis. Oh well, doesn't matter. And then this one here, I'm gonna put way, let's see what it'll look like in that flower. No, that doesn't look right. So I'm just gonna put it up here in that kind of area. Okay, so that's number 2 for your class. And let me just clean up my area here. Here's your envelope. That's really pretty. Matches your card. And then here's the other sample. I did not stamp on the front, but I did add the designer series paper so you can have a nice set of cards this way. So if you're coming on late, the first card we made was You Make a Difference, and it was this one here. So you can kind of see how they're kind of building off each other. All right, next card is going to be using probably some Mossy Meadow. I see that one next. And it looks like this here. This one's got that designer series paper, and I stamped with Mossy Meadow that rose. Again, you could use your Stampin' Right markers to color in the rose and the leaves as well, if you didn't want it all one color. I think it looks great with just one color. But if you want to take the time to do that, it's super easy to do. All right, so we need our circle. And I think I stamped on the inside of this one. This one is opening up a little bit differently, but that's okay. It's just what I had in my file cabinet for paper. I'm going to stamp that one. And let's see. Okay, so again, this one's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. But what I had in my file cabinet was 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go with that. It doesn't really matter on your layout. All right, Mossy Meadow, and that's your stamp. I do have to clean that rose because it has Melon Mambo on it. Gonna grab my Stampin' Scrub, love this, and it does need to be wet, so I'm just gonna add some of that mist. It's a Stampin' Mist, They used to sell it in a small bottle, but now they sell it in just the large only, which I kind of like. I'm just going to clean all of these. You know what I didn't do is I didn't stamp on the back side of the card, but that's okay. Okay, Mossy Meadow is, where's my Mossy? Okay, it's a green. You can use, I use honestly a 2-inch circle punch, but our layering circles will work fabulous as well. I hope they're going to bring back our circle punches. That would be really nice. Okay, that's easy as can be. This fits perfect, sentiment fits perfect on a 2-inch circle. And then I said we're going to be using a punch. So we are using the decorative circle punch. This one's new as well. It's $19. And I've just got a scrap of the Mossy Meadow. So we'll punch that out. See how easy that is. Craft farers, use your punches. All right. I think that's, yeah, I think that's, no. We need to stamp the envelope. And the inside. Got ahead of myself. All right. Grab my scrap because we're going to go off the edge here. So, there's that rose. And you can see where I stamped the stem off the edge. That way I don't have any white space in between. It goes all the way to the edge there. And then this is the inside. So I'm just going to stamp that rose over here on the edge. Here. And probably shouldn't have done that because our designer series paper. Actually, did I do that? Let's see. No, I just stamped, so we're good. All right, so here's all of the pieces that go here. Looks like I got 2 of those and I only need 1. All right, again, our size is 3 3/4 by 5. It's directional, so you make sure you're gonna put that on the correct way. I grab my liquid glue and just put it all the way around the edge. I like to put a little bit in the middle as well. And then I always start in the bottom left corner and make sure it's about 1/8. And then my eyes run all the way up to the top and crossed and down. Okay, so there's that really small border of Mossy Meadow. This one, we'll put some Stampin' Dimensionals on this one, why not? Press those all down. There's no ribbon kind of going around this one, so this is ready to go onto our thick white. Okay, then we have the banner, stitch banner here. Again, smooth side, rough side. This is going to go just on here, so simply I'll use my glue here and just put a little bit there. And it gets layered right down to the designer series paper. Then we have our sentiment. I'll grab my seal for that. And our decorative circle. Now I kind of want to look at this just because there is, see the tops, they match and the sides match. So you basically figure out what you want to have on the top. I like those 3 little arches there. So that means I need to put the sentiment that way too, going horizontally. All right, we'll make a triangle with our dimensionals. I think my cat wants to come in my craft room. It's dark out now, you guys. It is 7:51 and it's, well, it was probably dark at like 7:15. Who knows? Don't like it. Okay. This here is got some glittered burgundy ribbon there. So that's where you can use all your scrap pieces of ribbon. So just need about this much here. Then I will grab my Seal Plus. Just going to add like about that much. Okay, then we've got this piece here. This is super quick to use or to make, right? All we have to do now is just put those matte decorative dots on and call it good. So for this one, I'm going to use the Orchid Oasis here, which is this color right here. And these little ones, I like to use that putty. Oops, right there. Whoops, where'd it go? Those little ones jumping around. Okay, here we go. We got another 2 cards made. All right, so here's that one and the, actually, yeah, this is pretty. So on this one, I added the designer series paper on the flap and I also stamped it on the front. And then this one, I just did that. Okay, so next one is our sympathy card, and that'll be it. So and then I'll go over these at the end if you missed any or coming on late. But this is my ordering special. It is a card class for free when you purchase $35 or more in product at my website, which is inspiredbygraham.com. Make sure you use that host code. If you don't, and I see your order come through, I'll make sure Stampin' Up puts that on for you. Okay, so here's this one. Again, I stamped on the front and added the paper on the flap here. And then this one's super pretty. I mean, this can be anything. It can be, again, this is sympathy, but it could be a birthday card, thank you, whatever. So super easy to make. And you're showing off different sides of that paper too. Okie dokie. So let's see. We're going to stamp first. Okay, this one doesn't need it. Okay, so we have this one and we have the circle. Grab that scrap paper again. And then again, we got smooth and rough side, and same with this one as well. Sympathy is right here, and also we need that large flower and rich razzleberry and mossy meadow. So we'll work with the flower first. And this is a very large stamp, so when they're large like this, I usually just take the stamp pad and just ink it up that way. And I'm only going to get partial flowers on this and a little bit of that stem. Oh, that's super dark. Okay. I wonder if I used Mary Merlot by mistake on that one. I could have. Who knows? All right. Now the envelope. Again, we're going to do that same process. Ink it up. And then I'm going to put that one a little bit higher. Got a little smudge on that one, but that's all right. Now the test, if I can stamp straight. It's a tight squeeze on this one. Hopefully I can do it. it fits perfectly. Ooh, that's okay. It's a little off over the die cut there, but normally what you would do is you would stamp on the white first and then die cut it out. But I didn't want to do all that die cutting on camera because that does take a little bit of time. All right, Smoky Slate is our card base here. I don't really use that card color much, but it does look really nice with the Wonderful World Designer Series paper here. So again, that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, super easy. Now, this one here is the opposite side of this pretty side, okay? So it's just got that green. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to go over there. And then the next step is, the next layer up, I should say, is the Designer Series paper here. And this is 2 by 5 1/4. If you wanted to put it this way, you could, but I think that white is just, it's not grabbing my attention, but this darker side does. So we've got that. And I just added a nice little edge over here. It's about maybe 3/8 of an inch. Okay. We're going to take that organdy ribbon and we are going to tie a really big knot bow. And I like adding the ribbon on the inside so you can see that. So we will start flat and turn it over. Trying to get it in the center so we don't have to move it as much. I just noticed that panel's not too straight. I'm right-handed, so I start with a bolt on my right hand and then I bring it over. And now I'm going to try to get that knot to kind of land in the middle. We can always move it if we need to, but I'll try to get it so we don't have to. Just pull with the left side here. Okay, I wanted that big, so we'll trim it down a little bit, but we're going to leave it pretty long. Okay, so that's all prepped. Now we're going to take some of the, let me grab it here, Sweet Sorbet ribbon, which is 1/8 of an inch here. It's metallic, so it is super pretty. And how I did this was let me try to remember here. Yeah, I think testing myself here. So I think I went down the front. Yes, and then I went behind the knot. I'm gonna have to try a bow here. This is, hold on, I'm just gonna make sure. Yes. So I'm gonna have to cut this off just because it's gonna be so hard for me with my frozen fingers. I have 3 of them that are just not happy. So I'm gonna tie a knot. And I want it to land right there on top of the glittered organdy knot, and then just tie a bow. I think this adds a nice little touch. And it's a dangly little embellishment, right? Trim these down. Now you can see that is a little loose. Okay, it's a little too loose for me. So what I did was, or what you can do is, let's take some more, a mini glue dot, add it to the tip here, and you can just kind of roll it a little bit. I'm going to add this right underneath the knot here. Press down and release. Now, if you don't like this kind of loose, okay, you might not, we'll fix that. Okay, so this is going to get slid underneath. Okay, and you kind of want it up high enough so you can kind of see more of the flower. Now, this one was stamped much differently than my sample here. Okay, it looks like I got a little bit more white space over here, so we might have to angle that down a little bit. But this gets some Stampin' Dimensionals. You guys have heard me say Stampin' Dimensionals probably 100 times already tonight. Okay, and then just take these off. Got a little smudge mark, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm going to just work with it and not, we want to make sure it gets correctly. So I might have to angle this up a little bit higher. I'm just trying to get in this side so we can just see a little bit of that, this designer series paper right here. And I'm not really happy with it. So I'm going to move it over so I can see more of that stem. I think that's good. We're going to try to cover up that little streak over there. Now, if you don't like this loose, then all you need to do is put a little bit of liquid glue and you're going to hold it in place. About, 5-6 seconds, doesn't matter. And now that's going to get, it's going to stay put once that glue dries. We'll take our inside panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4 basic white, and we are going to just add this on just like we did on the others. And I'm going to add it to this side here. And 1/2 inch of my Stampin' Seal in 5 different places here. Okay, so now let's see if we can fix this. Let's see, what color do I want to use? The only color that really doesn't go with this paper are these blue ones here, so hesitate to use those. I think I'm gonna go with the Orchid Oasis, just a little bit softer color. So let's see if we can cover that up. Why not? We'll put it there, and here's one. And I'm going to use all the larger ones. Let's put this one over here. Okay, so we are done all these cards. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so the sample. Actually, that is rich raspberry because it did dry correctly. It does look like it is definitely rich raspberry. Okay, so here's this one here, and I'll show you the designer series paper. Okay, so we have this one, and we have the green Mossy Meadow one. This is my favorite one with the Orchid Oasis Iris and the Starry Sky. And then we've got You Make a Difference Every Day with a Pear Pizzazz Butterfly. So there's your card set. In this offering, I am offering this as a free class. You would make 2 each of these, okay? What a great deal, you guys. You're going to make 8 cards, all the die cuts, all the punches, panels, card base, envelopes. You'll get some of these matte dots. You're going to get enough ribbon to go with the cards. Each ribbon is featured on every single card. The decorative dots. I'm not going to send a whole pack, but I'll send enough so you can have enough for your cards. And then what else? You're going to get the stamp set, which is the Wonderful World, which I used tonight. That's going to come no charge because I earned this at no charge, plus the fabulous Wonderful World Designer Series paper. This is a brand new pack. I don't want to open it up, but you've kind of seen a variety of sides here and designs. Sorry, had a mental block there. And then the stamp set I used tonight is called Inspired Thoughts. It's a cling stamp set. So it's got that red rubber on it. It's $19. So $19 for the stamp set, $19 for the decorative circle, $19 for the handmade tag. So I guess my lucky number tonight is 19. Actually, that was my jersey number in college when I played field hockey. So that's kind of cool. All right. So again, to order this, to get this for free, you just need to place a $35 product order at inspiredbygram.com. I'm going to have the URLs in the description box in probably a half an hour. It'll be ready to go. So all you need to do is click or copy and paste the URL. If your order is $150 or under $150, you're going to use this host code. But your product order needs to be $35 or more to get the class. If your order is $150 and above, you're going to have a different link. You won't be using that host codes because you're going to get the Stampin' Reward. So at $150, that's $15 of free product, plus the class, plus the stamp set, plus the designer series paper. So I only have 16 of these left. So it's basically first come, first serve. Once it's gone, it's gone. These sales will help me immensely to earn the incentive trip. So I'll recap that for you. I'm hoping to earn the trip to Norway. It's a cruise. Points I need is 40,000. Points I've earned. It went up a little bit from Friday, so 37,913. I need 2,087 points, and I need it by September 30th at 11:50 Mountain Time. So there's a number of ways I can get to that. I can have, if I have one team member promote, I earn the trip because I would receive 2,500 points and I would be done. If two of my team members qualify, that's 1,500 points times 2, so that's 3,000. I've got more than enough. Or I can mix and match some points from my team, some customer orders to get to this. So I know that there's always this disclaimer about the Norway cruise and earning the incentive trip, which I'll have to say is basically less than 1% earn the trip. It's not something that you do like overnight. It's taken me almost 12 months to earn this many points here, 37,913. Last year I earned the trip in 10 months. I was gone the whole month of August, but I am so close. So I really appreciate my team coming through for me, my customers as well. So again, I have until September 30th to earn the cruise. I feel like I'm going to do it. And once I know I have done it, then you guys will know as well. So you guys, I'll see you on Thursday night on my YouTube channel. I will upload this on my video for tonight in the virtual card class to YouTube a little bit later. You can always come back to my Inspired by Graham Facebook page too to watch it there. It will be available for you as well. So you guys have a great evening and take care. And I hope that you guys have a great night. So I'll see you on Thursday on YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Take care.